Welcome back to 5-Digit Films, the channel for all things amputee. So today I'm going to go over something with you that's going to be a precursor to something else I have a little bit later. If you follow my other channel, Area 52, you know that I am trying to get my commercial driver's license. So as a person with a full body, that's not too hard to do. You go and take some written testing, you go and get your DOT physical, you go and do a DOT driving test, and as long as you pass all of that, you're golden. You will have a commercial driver's license. However, for people like me who have limb loss or even limb impairment, it's not that easy. There's a couple extra steps. So what I ended up having to do was I had to take my written test. Then I had to go get my DOT physical done. However, that physical isn't valid until I get what's called a SPE certificate, a skills performance evaluation. You have to apply for that. That has to get approved. And then if you already have a CDL, you'll be good to drive again. If you're like me and you don't have a CDL, there's going to be some other steps again. So once I have applied for my SPE certificate, the next step is going to be they'll send me a training certificate. After I have my training certificate, then I can go on and I can drive a commercial vehicle as long as I have a CDL holder in the passenger seat with me. So my plan is going to be turn in the application, which I actually did a couple days ago. They're going to send me that training certificate, and then I'm going to go out with a buddy of mine and drive for a couple weeks before I take the DOT driving exam. If I pass that DOT driving exam, they are going to give me my CDL. But again, it won't be valid until I actually have my SPE certificate. So I'll send the copy of my CDL to the FMCSA, and then within 4 to 6 weeks, they're going to send somebody, and I'm going to have to take basically the same DOT driving exam, but with an SPE official. The difference being I will have to provide my own truck, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get around that one yet, but I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. I have some friends that may let me use their truck, but that's a big ask. So we'll see. But in today's video, I'm going to go over with you guys how I filled out the SPE certificate application and walk you through that process. This is everything I had to send in. The application itself is 18 pages, but there's going to be more that you need to send in with it. And I'll go over that with you as well. Now later, I'm going to actually bring in a friend of mine who has already gone through the process, had his CDL before he was injured, and went through the same process. So it'll give you guys kind of a different take on this, but I'm already getting people asking me questions about how to just fill out this application and what needs to go with it. So stick with me. I'm going to walk you through the entire application, tell you what you need to know and how I filled it out, and hopefully it'll guide you in the right direction, and then you can move on to the next step, whether you already have your CDL and you're having to go through this, which, by the way, if you don't know, if you already hold your CDL, lost a limb or have a limb impairment, you are going to have this SPE certificate before you can legally drive again. If you get caught and you don't have this SPE certificate, it's going to be big trouble. So let's get into that part of the video and I'll walk you through the whole process.
Okay guys, so this application is 18 pages, and I know that seems really ominous, but trust me, it's not that bad. We'll get through this together. I'll walk through it with you step by step. So these first couple pages are just an explanation of basically how they want you to fill out this application, and I printed this off. And at the time that I was doing it, I actually had the PDF pulled up on my computer and was using the fill and sign tool on the PDF to be able to fill this out. My handwriting with my right hand isn't very legible, And especially for filling out a document like this, I didn't want to chance them not being able to read what I'd written down. So I just typed out everything that I could. So as I said, these first couple pages go over every step of your application. Very simple stuff. So we get down here. This is some important information on page 5 here. This information tells you which service center you're going to be sending this to. Since I'm in Indiana, I used the Midwestern Service Center in Matson, Illinois. Now, this is very important because you need to make sure that you send your application in to the correct service center. If not, I'm not sure what will happen. They may forward it on to the correct service center, but if that's the case, it's going to add more time, or they may just reject it and you have to send it into the correct service center. So you need to make sure that you send it to the right service center the first time. And if you get on the FMCSA website, you can actually get a fax number for each one of these 4 service centers. And that's what I did. It's so much faster to go ahead and fax it in. But as soon as you fax it in, you need to make sure that you call within, I would say, probably an hour out of faxing it in, and basically have them do a trace on it. Make sure they got it. Make sure there isn't any issues with your application. Kind of push them along. And you're going to want to call them periodically to make sure things are getting done. So let's move on. So this page 6 tells you what all you need to send with your application. So you guys can read through this. I don't need to read this for you, but basically what this is telling you is that you need to fill out all parts of this 18-page application. You're also going to need to get your DOT physical. You're going to send in the long form and your physical card, and then you're also going to send in your 3-year driving record. And to get that driving record, you can just go onto your BMV website and you can go through, find it, print it off. It's really simple, really easy. What I actually did is I went down to my local BMV and they had a little kiosk there, and that made it super simple to just go in. I had to put in like my driver's license number and pay a couple dollars and print that off, and it was no big deal. So this section tells you everything that you're going to need. For a new person like me, that is pretty much all I needed. I just needed my application, my medical examination report, my long form physical, and my DOT card, and I needed my driving record. And then you're going to sign and date here in this place. Okay, so page 7 of the application here. Very simple. You see those check boxes up in the top. You have application type, unilateral or joint. This just means, are you doing this application on your own, or are you doing this in conjunction with the company that you're working for? For me, being a new application and trying to get my CDL for the first time, I'm doing this completely on my own, so I checked the unilateral box. So then you go through your basic information: last name, first name, middle initial, maiden name if applicable, date of birth, your sex, address, city, state, zip, telephone number, your driver's license number, and the state that your driver's license has been issued in. This next part is going to be pretty important if you're an amputee or have an impaired limb. In this box right here, you're going to type in or fill in the type of limb impairment or amputation you have. So for me, I'm left hand below the elbow is what I put in there. Then the next box is type of prosthesis worn if applicable. So not really knowing what to expect, I put in all types of prosthetic devices that I have. So I have a myoelectric with a hand and hook attachment, and I put in that I had a body powered device with 4 different attachments. So I wanted them to basically know that I have whatever tools necessary for the job. Okay, so description of operation. This one for me, since I'm new to all this, I really had no idea what to put in here. So under states of operation, I put all types of cargo, I put all, and average period of driving time, I filled in, I think it's 14 hours, which is the max legal limit of drive time that you can have. And then type of operation, I just put solo. Number of years of experience driving type of vehicle and application. Obviously, for me, I have 0. If you have years of experience driving a truck, here is where you're going to put down all the years of experience you have driving. And then number of years driving all types of vehicles. So I got my driver's license at 16. I'm now 28. So you do the math. That's what I put there. Pretty basic stuff up to this point. Okay, description of vehicles. So vehicle type, I put tractor, trailer, semi. If you're going to be driving a bus, you have to write in that you're in a bus, and then you have to put the capacity of the bus. I put NA in capacity. Under make and model, I put all, and under year, I put all. Transmission type, this is an important step right here. If you want to be able to drive a manual transmission truck, you need to type in that your truck is going to be a manual, and you also need to test in a manual truck, because if you get approved for your SPE certificate in an automatic, you will be restricted to automatics only, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're like me and you want to be able to drive a manual, you need to make sure that you put in your application that you're going to be driving a manual truck and that you test in a manual truck. Number of forward speeds, I put 18 speeds, so that way I'm not restricted there. The idea being if I can drive if I can drive an 18 speed, I can drive a 10 speed, or a 13 speed, or a 9 speed, so on and so forth. This next section, if equipped with an auxiliary transmission, indicate. I don't plan on doing any heavy hauling, so I put NA for number of forward speeds. Rear axle is always going to be a single speed for me. Type of brake system, I'm going to be using air brakes. Steering is going to be power assisted for me. But put in what it is you're going to be driving or what you plan to be driving. Number of semi-trailers or full trailers to be towed at one time. Even though I have my doubles and triples endorsement, I really don't plan on doing it, but I did put single, double, and triple on my application. Description of trailers. I put everything that I expected. So I've got dry van, reefer, flatbed, tanker. I think that's it. Description of vehicle modifications. So I don't really need any modifications other than a knuckle buster knob on my steering wheel. So I didn't put that there. That may come back to bite me, but I doubt it. So I just put 0 modifications. If your vehicle is going to need to be modified with like hand controls or something of that nature, this is where you're going to put that. And then you're going to sign and date. This is an important part as well, your application for employment. This is going to be turned in with everything else. However, for me, I'm not applying anywhere yet. I'm waiting until I actually have my SPE certificate and my CDL and everything squared away to figure out where I'm going to work. I want to make sure that I can actually drive a truck before I apply somewhere. If you're doing a joint application, this is where you're going to put in that information. For me, I just skipped through all of this until I got to the point of date of birth and social security number. These things need to be in here. Your address for the past 3 years. Obviously, you filled out your address, but it might not. You filled it out on page 7, I think it was, but it wouldn't hurt to put it again here. So in my case, I've been at the same address for my entire life. So that's what I would put in. Your street, city, state, and zip code, and 28 years for how long. But if it's different for you, you need to indicate that here. Driver experience and qualifications. So This is very simple. Just put in your state driver's license, your license number, the type of license you had, and the expiration date. For me, very simple, Indiana, put in my driver's license number. I have a regular license with a motorcycle endorsement, and then I put in the date that it expired. Driving experience. For me, I just left this blank because I didn't have any commercial driving experience. Accident record for the past 3 years or more. I have had no accidents, so that was left empty for me. But if that's different for you, you need to put that in there. Don't lie to these people because they know more than you do. Be honest. Traffic convictions and forfeitures in the past 3 years. Again, same thing here. Do not lie to these people. Be honest. Put in everything for your past 3 years. Again, this is all going to show up on your driving record anyway, so no point in lying at this point. And then these check boxes here. Have you ever been denied a license, permit, or privilege to operate a motor vehicle? Yes or no? Has any license, permit, or privilege ever been suspended or revoked? Yes or no? And then, of course, if the answer to either one of those is yes, attach a statement giving details. So you're going to want to explain what happened. Again, be honest. So your employment record. For me, this one, I wasn't sure how to do this because none of my previous employment has anything to do with trucking. Looking back, I may have wanted to fill this out. I left it blank, but again, that might come back to bite me in the butt. I'll let you guys know in future videos. But I would say it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and put in your employment records for the last 3 years, even if it has nothing to do with commercial driving. For some reason, maybe if they want references or something like that, I'm not sure. But I would go ahead and fill that in if you can. And then you're going to sign and date. Road test examination. For me, being a first-time CDL holder and applicant to the SPE program, this does not apply to me. This is going to be something that happens later when I actually get my training certificate for SPE. Then I'll be able to actually go do my road test examination. If you had a CDL, got injured, resulting in limb loss or impairment, then you're going to have to take a new road test. You have to take the SPE program if you're already a CDL holder. This is very important. If not, if you just start driving anyway, it's illegal and you will get in trouble. So the results of that road test examination are going to be here. Again, this did not apply to me because I'm not at that point in the process yet. I will take the road test later, so I left this blank. And this isn't going to be filled out by you either. This will be filled out by the examiner. So then you have the certification of road test. Again, this is filled out by the examiner. Nothing that you need to be worried about. Okay, so this next part, starting on page 12, is for your surgeon or a physician to fill out. They must be board certified. Make sure of that, otherwise it does not count. So this section also will not be filled out by you. What I did is I sent it to the surgeon who buttoned up my arm and had her fill that out and send it back to me. Very easy. It took her some time. She's a busy woman, but it was much simpler that way, and she knew the most about my injury and my prosthetics. So she's going to go, or she or he, whoever you have, is going to go through and fill this out. However, I did fill out everything I could, the stuff that I didn't think she would be able to know. So, right here, the vehicle type, I checked the box for tractor trailer because that's what I plan on driving. And then I checked all of these boxes right here that apply to what I figure I'm going to be doing while I'm driving a truck. Environmental factors, again, this is something you can check all that apply to try to help them out a little bit, stuff that they're not really going to know. Physical demand, again, you are going to have a better idea of what you're going to need to do here. So fill out what you can, help them out a little bit, unless you plan on being there in person when they fill this out for you. And then page 16 here, this is the stuff that you definitely are not filling out. This is going to be something that the doctor is going to fill out. So they will go through all of this stuff on page 16, page 17, and page 18. And then they're going to fill out and sign the rest here.
Okay, guys, so that is all that you should need to know about your SPE certificate application process. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead, post them in the comments below. I'll leave a link down below where to find that application at. So you should be able to go straight to it, print off the application, fill it out, figure out which service center you need to send it to, and get it sent to them. So again, any questions or comments you guys may have, please feel free to send them into the comment section down below. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. And I promise you guys I will have more information on this subject in the future. Have a great day, everybody.